Hi, I'm Olivia,
Hi, I'm Maggie.
and this is Girls Talk Film. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. This is a podcast about movies. Every week, we pick a tone, theme, style, type of character, and we choose three movies that all contain it, and then we compare and contrast.
And this week we are covering Adolescence and how it is shown on film.
Yes, this is part one of a two-part
Yes.
series, a duology, if you will.
Yeah, we did something similar to it a little bit earlier with anti-heroes and anti-heroines. So if you listen to those episodes, it's going to kind of be like a little bit of a similar thing.
Yeah, so today we're focusing on coming of age movies about adolescence, about boys, and then next week we'll be talking about girls.
Yes.
So this week our films are Superbad, Stand By Me, and The Dead Poet Society. Honestly, kind of three of the greatest coming of age movies of all time.
Yeah, I'm going to like spoil the episode right now. None of the films go like, they're all within a 0.5 rating of each other.
Yeah.
Like all of the films are so equally amazing, in my opinion, in different ways, but like they all are just so solid throughout.
Yeah. No, I would say this was like a really fun week. Just
I had a
watching all these
blast.
movies. I haven't seen Stand By Me since I probably was like 14.
Really?
Yeah, it had just like been a long time, but I knew it's a movie I loved, so it was like a pleasure to watch it again.
Honestly, that was me with Dead Poet Society. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but it's one that like I could not watch for like 50 years and be like, no, that's still like a really great movie. And like just
Yeah.
recommend it like tomorrow to anybody.
Exactly. I mean, I love coming of age movies.
I do too.
There's something so special about them. Like I loved them when I was coming of age, and I've continued to love them into adulthood. Like it really is just such a weird time and a very seminal time in everybody's life. And I don't know, I like stories about young people. Like I like stories about young people finding themselves. So the first movie that we'll be talking about today is Superbad, which came out in 2007. It's a comedy. It's like one of the most iconic comedies of our generation.
Yeah, definitely like in that era of like Step Brothers, Blades of Glory, Superbad, kind of like comedies coming out. I would say this is my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too. Yeah. I've also never really found Step Brothers that funny. And I'm sure there will be like people in the comments upset about that. But like
I find it funny. I don't find like a lot of those movies funny though.
I don't know. Superbad I find very clever because it's so like universal too.
It's just every line in that movie is
Yeah.
funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, this joke. It's like, no, every single word that comes out of the characters' mouths is a joke.
Yeah. No,
And it's so great.
it's very true. Well, it was written by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and Greg Mottola. And it was directed by Greg Mottola. And kind of famously, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg started writing the script for this when they were like 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
they worked on it for like many years. Then it morphed into what hasn't become Superbad.
Okay.
So Superbad was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing, and it received a wide theatrical release in August 2007. It grossed a total of $170 million against a $20 million budget. So it was a hit at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it was popular back then. It's still popular today. Like,
I feel like anyone our age, you could say like any line from Superbad, and it's like, oh yeah, like
yeah. You can't quote Superbad and not know what it is.
everyone has seen it. Like it's just one of those that it's like if you haven't seen Superbad, it's like strange.
And it's so universally funny.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yes, it's like kind of about boys and teenage boys, and there's a lot of like boy humor, but I traditionally don't like that kind of humor.
Yeah.
And I find this movie really funny. So I think it's hard. I just think the jokes are really well done.
Totally agreed. Also, it reminds me of one of my favorite comedy TV shows of all time, The In-Betweeners. Oh my God, you have to watch The In-Betweeners. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It's like a British comedy about a group of high schoolers, and it's very like Superbad vibes. Every time I see Superbad, I'm like, oh my God, it's like this is kind of the American version of The In-Betweeners.
So the movie centers around Evan, who's played by Michael Cera, and Seth, who's played by Jonah Hill. Both of them are unpopular high school seniors who have been best friends since childhood. It's the last day of their senior year of high school, and they're soon going off to different colleges. Seth is obsessed with losing his virginity before going to college, while Evan has kind of a long-standing crush on his classmate Becca. He's not so much worried about losing his virginity.
No.
He just wants to get closer to her.
Yeah. My one kind of gripe with the film, truly, is, listen, Michael Cera, every single line out of his mouth is comedy gold. He does not have a single bad moment in this film. Like, anytime he's on camera, I'm laughing.
Okay.
Jonah Hill is really funny as Seth. I find Seth grating at the beginning of the film.
I think that's kind of the point, though.
And I get it, but I'm just like, for so long, I just don't like him. And I'm just like, okay, we get it. Like, the sex talk. Like, it just, like, doesn't stop to the point that it's like, who talks like that? Like, who speaks like that?
Yeah, that's true. I will
but
give
then
you that.
Once the plot gets going, and then also once we see a little more of Seth's like vulnerability and insecurity as the story goes on, then I'm like, okay, like I'm buying into it now.
Well, yeah. I mean, so Seth's like obsession with sex and like his perverse nature and his like grotesque like kind of comments
really is.
about any woman who comes near him.
Any woman
is rooted in a deeply insecure teenage boy who really just like I don't even think it's really about him losing his virginity.
No,
it's
he's
literally
scared to go to college, and he's worried that he's like not ready to take the next step in his life. So losing his virginity before college has become this thing of like, I can't go to college without,
like, I can't go to college as a virgin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a loser when I get to college.
yes.
Yeah. So they go to home economics, and Seth is paired with Jules, who is played by Emma Stone.
Emma Stone is so funny.
This is like one of her first like breakout roles.
I think this was her first or second movie.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah.
And apparently, fun fact, the studio like didn't want to cast her. And because they wanted to cast someone who was like a little more well known. And Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were like, no, it's her. Like,
oh my God,
period,
could
is
you
her. And then
imagine?
like, look, she's a 2-time Oscar winning like
Right.
mega superstar.
And she's great in this movie.
She's so funny. Like, she makes Jules, a lot of time too in these kind of like raunchy teenager
like
boy
boy
movies,
comedies.
the girls kind of only exist to be sex objects for the boys to like stare at. And there's a little bit of that in this film, definitely.
Yes.
But Jules and Becca, who are kind of like the two love interests, they have personalities.
Yeah, they are. And not only do they have personalities, they're girls you know. Like, they are
Yes.
girls you went to high school with.
100%. Like, Jules and Seth in home ec, they're paired together, and they have this little like kind of funny back and forth.
They're kind of like flirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's this thing of like Seth being like, wait a second, she's really funny.
Yeah.
And then her like thinking that he's funny, and
Yep.
them kind of like matching each other's energy, going back and forth with the jokes. And I'm like, I actually really appreciated that they did that instead of like, ooh, she's sexy, and he's like staring down her shirt.
Right.
And, like,
and obviously, like, Emma Stone is like a very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But like, I also like how Jules and Becca aren't like every guy is pining after
no,
them.
they're like normal high school girls.
The way they portray high school is very like
Agreed.
very
Yeah.
realistic in a lot of ways. So, and also like Jules finds Seth funny. Like, you can tell
Yeah.
she's kind of into him.
Yeah.
She invites him to a grad party that she's hosting at her house. So, and Seth kind of offers to get alcohol for this party.
Because Evan and Seth's friend Fogel is in the process of acquiring a fake ID. So when she invites him to the party, it's like, oh, I know someone who can get us alcohol. Like,
Yeah, he wants to kind of be like, impress her.
he wants to be pimp.
Yeah, he does. It says he wants to be pimp.
To be like, yeah, like I can get you guys alcohol. And she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, like
great,
that would be
thank
great.
you. Evan also asks Becca if she's going to the party and offers to get her a bottle of alcohol too. So now both boys are kind of like tasked with getting alcohol for the girls they like.
So when they meet up with their nerdy friend Fogel, who's played so well
Perfectly
by
casted.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who was like 16 when they filmed this.
No, he's like, I went to school with a Fogel.
You
Like,
know Fogel.
Yes.
he's just like a nerd. Like he's like a dork.
He's a dork.
And his fake ID famously, it's the best scene in the movie.
It's the most iconic scene. Like everybody, even if you haven't seen the movie, you know this scene.
Yeah, where he on his fake ID he puts the name McLovin. No first name.
Not only does he put McLovin, he's from Hawaii. And
25.
He's 25 and an organ donor. Yep.
Yeah.
Like
McLovin? Who is it? Or like, who do you know named McLovin? And he goes, well, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between
that
and
and Muhammad?
It's every line in that scene is like, you could just like stop that scene randomly at any
even
point.
As we're talking about it, I'm thinking of like the rhythm of the back and
Yes.
forth about McLovin.
No,
like, it's so fucking funny.
It's so great. And I love how stressed out Seth is. He's like, why the fuck would you do it? Like he is literally
he's like having a panic attack of like,
Yeah,
oh my god, no one's gonna buy this.
Right. We literally just can't get the alcohol now. So after school, the three boys head to a liquor store. Oh, I have to include really quick. It's not in our notes, but like Seth originally is like, I'm just gonna steal liquor, whatever. And he goes into a grocery store and he has these like hilarious like scenarios play out in his head where he like either gets someone to buy the alcohol for him or like he has to like fight his way to steal it.
Yeah.
And it's scenes like that where I'm like, no, that's really funny. And that's such a scene that they could have just cut out.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, that's great.
like, does it have any direct relevance to like the plot? No. But it's hilarious.
And there's so many moments like that. So I just had to include it, but that fails. They go to a liquor store. Seth and Evan wait outside and Fogel purchases the alcohol. He's almost successful. He's literally about to pay, but is interrupted when a robber punches him in the face and raids the cash register. The police come and the officers are Officer Slater, played by Bill Hader, and Officer Michaels, played by Seth Rogen. Seth and Evan see the police car out front and they assume Fogel has been like caught.
Yeah,
so they just dip.
Which is so shitty of them.
Right. Come on.
Like they sent him in there like fully thinking like it's not going to work. And like Seth has no faith that Fogel's ID is going to work.
No, he's still like freaking out.
Yeah. So they just like decide to dip and are like, well, guess he's getting arrested. They leave. Seth immediately gets hit by a car.
Yeah. Like the car's like backing up and it kind of knocks him over.
And the driver, who's like this total weirdo and apparently like he has like a warrant out because of unpaid parking tickets. So he was like, wait, no, like don't.
It's like, please don't call the cops.
Please don't call the cops. And Seth is like, well, if you can buy us alcohol. And he's like, well, I don't have any money on me, but I'm on my way to this party. Like, if you guys want to come, and there will be alcohol at the party.
Right. So they get in and start their journey to this party to get alcohol. Meanwhile, the officers seem to be fooled by Fogel's fake ID. And they offer him a ride to the party. They're like, oh, sorry about that, man. Yeah, well, where you going? We'll give you a ride here. Grab this stuff. Like, they grab his alcohol for him. Fogel bonds with them as they engage in various shenanigans. This whole part of the movie is so great. They basically just go on like a huge bender, basically.
Oh my God. They like show up at some bar because there's like a drunk guy making noise. Like they arrest him and then just like chilling at the bar drinking. They drive drunk in the police car.
They're also the worst cops you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like the drunk guy is like shouting at the bartender or something and they immediately pull out their guns. Like they are like should not be cops whatsoever.
But yet they like start they're like shooting stop signs. No, like they're having like a wild night out.
It's a night of like debauchery basically.
Yeah. And Fogel, like 17-year-old Fogel, is just like chilling with them.
Yeah, he's having the time of his life because not only did he get the alcohol, but now he's like
having fun
hanging out with these
cool
random cops.
Yeah. So at the party that the driver has taken Seth and Evan to, Evan is mistaken for another person. They keep saying that he looks like someone's brother.
You look like Jimmy's brother.
Yeah.
That is such a great bit that keeps coming up in the movie.
And it's like
reoccurring. Like it's like, oh my God, I love when they're like, the singer, you have the beautiful voice. And Michael Cera, who's like born to play the awkward guy, is like literally getting pale in the face because he's not a singer. Like
Evan's mistaken for Jimmy's brother. And he ends up like trapped in a room with a group of guys who are doing cocaine. And yeah, they're like, oh, like you're the singer. Sing for us. Sing for us.
And then they start getting like angry because they're on cocaine. They're like, my buddy's all the way from out of town. You're not going to sing for him. And so he's like trying to sing this song and they're all like so coked out of their minds. They're like loving it. Like
Seth starts dancing with a drunk girl at the party and she's like grinding on his leg. This bit is like very funny.
This bit is disgusting, but
it's gross.
It
but
does make me chuckle. I hate to say it.
She was like grinding on his leg and then he finds out like moments later that his pants are now stained with her menstrual blood.
Yeah, so a fight breaks out at the party and the police are called. Seth and Evan meet up and run before the police can catch them.
Yeah, and then once they're at like a safe distance, they stop to catch their breath and Seth accuses Evan of bailing on him because he's like, we showed up to this party and then you just disappear.
Yeah, he's under the impression that like Evan like tried to leave.
Yeah.
Whereas Seth wanted to stay and like try to get as much alcohol as possible.
Yeah, where Evan just kind of ended up trapped in that room with the drugged out guys and like couldn't leave.
Yeah.
It was a whole situation. He just couldn't get out.
It's a whole ordeal.
And Seth is just like, why aren't you as in this with me? Kind of.
Yeah, so they start arguing and Seth is again hit by a car, but this time it is the police cruiser that has Slater, Michaels, and Fogel in it. And the officers plan to blame the crash on Seth and Evan.
Yeah, they immediately start working out how they can frame them.
Well, also because Seth and Evan have the alcohol on them.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is great. Underage kids with alcohol. Like, we're just going to blame them. But Fogel gets out of the car and all three of them kind of run away. So it turns into this like big police chase.
Mm-hmm. And they now with the trio kind of reunited, they make their way to Jules's party, which has been their destination since hours and hours ago.
Yes, and remember, Fogel was successful in getting the alcohol, so they're well stocked. Yes. So at the party, Fogel accidentally reveals that he and Evan will be living together in college with Seth, which Seth like was unaware of.
Yeah, he knew that Evan and Fogel both got into Dartmouth and he didn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew they were going to but I think it's like, you know, your two close friends are moving in together and it's like, oh, so like you guys are just moving on without me.
Well, it's also very clear that like Evan and Seth are kind of a duo, yeah. And Fogel kind of hangs out with them sometimes. And I feel like because Seth is so insecure, he's now like, oh, now they're going to be the duo and I'm the one who's left behind.
Yes, 100%.
So Seth, very upset by this news, begins like getting really, really drunk at this party.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fogel, who's having like the best night of his entire life,
literally,
he just partied with the cops for hours. Like they had a blast. And then he like successfully flirts with this really pretty girl and she takes him upstairs and they get it on.
Yeah.
While Becca, who Evan is absolutely in love with, is so drunk and tries to seduce him.
This might be my favorite scene.
Really?
When they are like hooking up.
It's very funny.
It's so painfully awkward.
The bit where she's too drunk and can't get her top off is very funny.
It's just the whole ordeal. And it's so like, for a movie that's literally about these like two virgin boys like going to this party kind of in hopes of losing their virginity and getting with these girls, like you couldn't have worse sex scenes.
No, it's so, and Evan is like stone cold sober and Evan just like is uncomfortable with the fact that she's so drunk and he's like, I don't want like this to be weird between us. Like I don't want to take advantage of you basically.
Right.
Because I really like you.
He likes her. It's not just like losing his virginity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, who is now crazy drunk, meets back up with Jules and attempts to kiss her, but she rebuffs him and he, now believing like he's kind of ruined his only chance to get with her.
Because he had this thing in his mind of like, well, at the party she'll be drunk and there's no other way that she would ever be like interested in me. Which is honestly really sad.
It is sad, yeah. There is a great line though where he's like, you know, when girls are like, oh, I was so fucked up.
Stop that. I have that in my, we're going to go through
some of our favorite lines.
We're going to go through some of our favorite lines at the end. And that's like my favorite
that is one
line.
of the best lines.
But, and then when he sees, and he's like, no, but you're really drunk. Like
and Jules is actually like, I actually don't drink. I'm stone cold sober.
Yeah. And he was like, no. And she's like, no, like I'm sober.
he ends up passing out because he's so drunk, and on his way down he smacks Jules in the face and gives her a black eye.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's so very, very poor execution of that seduction. So eventually Slater and Michaels, the cops, show up at the party to like bust the party.
Right, underage kids drinking.
Yeah, Seth and Evan manage to escape, but Slater bursts in on Fogel, who's now like in bed with that girl that he was with earlier. And Slater is like so upset that Fogel ditched them earlier.
Bill Hader is so funny. He's like genuinely hurt.
Yeah.
He's
like,
like,
why would you do that, man?
He's like, I thought you were my boy.
So they all like apologize, and then the cops reveal that they always knew Fogel was underage.
Yeah, they were like, we know that idea wasn't real, man.
Yeah, McLovin.
Yeah.
They always knew Fogel was underage, and they just played along because they're like, well, we were thinking about when we were teenagers, and we wanted to show you that cops can have fun too.
Yeah.
Which is so silly.
It's so stupid.
And then to make it up to Fogel, like that they like interrupted his time with this girl, they make like a spectacle of perp walking him out of the party.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's crazy. Whoa, we gotta like don't mess with him. And everyone's like, damn, Fogel's a badass.
Yeah.
So Seth sleeps over at Evan's house where they apologize to each other and reconcile. The next day, Seth and Evan go to the mall and they run into Jules and Becca. Becca and Seth kind of respectively like apologize for their drunken behavior to Jules and Evan.
Mm-hmm. This is like a really sweet scene, actually.
It's a little sad in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole dynamic of Evan and Seth realizing that they're gonna have to, especially Seth, like realizing that he's gonna have to just come to terms with the fact that he's not going to college with Evan.
Yeah, the film ends with the two couples kind of like splitting off and going with their respective like partners. So
yeah, like Seth and
Jules and Becca and Evan, and they kind of like end on opposite sides of the mall. And it is like, it's a little bit of like a bittersweet ending because us, take away all the like stupid, losing my virginity comedy. Like this movie at the end of the day is about like two best friends who are like moving on to a new chapter in their lives, and they're like not together.
Yeah.
Like it is a little bit, it's a big turning point that a lot of people can relate to, and it is kind of a little bit like scary and sad.
It is. It's terrifying. And you can so see the bond between them of like, they're just the guys who have done everything together since they were little kids. This is like the first thing that they're not doing together. It's a really like laugh out loud, constant, like nonstop laughs. And then like at the end, it does have a little bit of a heart to it. The one, like I do sometimes think that, I mean, the Judd Apatow comedies, like they're all the like the riffing and like so much of it is clearly just like an improv kind of back and forth making jokes. I do think sometimes they let it go on for a little too long.
Yes, that's why I honestly like, if I had to pick like one thing that I don't find too funny in this movie, it's Seth Rogen. Like he as a comedian is just like not always my favorite. And I think it's for that reason where it's like with a lot of his work, they sometimes just let the like ad-libbing go on. Like it's like, okay, you should have called cut there.
Like the scene could have ended 4 lines ago and it would have made for like a tighter, funnier scene.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I just think it's like they just let them keep riffing. And I get it when you make a movie and like you're the ones making the jokes, everything's hilarious. But it just like, I feel like it could have been a little tighter. I feel like 5 minutes of like the back and forth could have been cut from the film. And I think it really would have improved the film a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but otherwise, like most of the jokes land.
Again, most of the jokes are so like interwoven through the dialogue.
Yeah.
There's no point where it feels like there should be like a laugh track or like a pause for like it's just so
that's because it's so quick fire.
Yes.
Like it's joke, joke, joke. Like there really is, in the scenes where it works, it really works.
It works so well.
Oh my God. I mean, there's a reason that the McLovin scene is so iconic because it's so funny.
It's so funny.
And it's the delivery. It's the delivery of every single line. Like the rhythm of that scene is just so perfect.
So what are some of your favorite lines?
Okay. So as we watched, we wrote down some of our favorite lines.
Honestly, that's like most of my notes, to be honest.
I'll read like my top two.
Okay.
My favorite line in the film is, "No one's gotten a hand job in cargo pants since Nam."
I fucking love that line.
It's so good. Second line. I can't even. You know when you hear girls say, "Oh man, I was so shit-faced last night. I shouldn't have fucked that guy. We could be that mistake."
That actually is probably my favorite line.
It's so funny with like the sheer joy that he says it.
He said, "We could be that mistake." Like, come on, man. Yeah, just such a funny movie. Like, you watch it, you're giggling the whole time. It's fun to watch alone. It's fun to watch with friends.
Yeah.
Just
I feel
solid.
like Superbad is one of those movies that's like always put on when you're like with a group of people.
Totally. And
I feel like I've seen it, like parts of it, a billion times because it's just like, oh, Superbad's on. Like, let's put that on.
I also think it's a pretty like underrated like coming of age movie. I think people think of it as like, which it is. It's a comedy first, but I think there are like a lot of like moments about like, again, going to college, leaving behind your friends from school, like entering this new chapter. And then there's also funny things like that, you know, is a big part of adolescence, like losing your virginity.
Yeah.
And kind of like the stigma that has.
I was actually, because there are so many like male adolescence movies that center around like the losing of the virginity. And obviously like that's a big thing for guys. And I was kind of pleasantly surprised watching Dead Poet Society and Stand By Me after Superbad.
Yeah.
Because again, I hadn't really seen either of them in a while, and I appreciated that there are also a lot of male coming of age movies that aren't sex obsessed and are more like
emotionally driven
and whatever, just because a lot of female coming of age movies tend to not be sex obsessed.
No, actually, I dare you to find 5 movies that are
like, and there's, I mean, like in Lady Bird, which we're talking about next week, there's like a virginity losing scene, but it's not
what drives the plot at all.
No, even a little bit. And it seems to in a lot of like male high school movies. I'm not gonna lie, out of all of them, Superbad is the best one.
But yeah, great movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I'm going 7 out of 10, so pretty close.
Yeah, just a great time.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Kind of can't go wrong with it.
No, not at all.
I feel like pretty much everyone likes it. You kind of can't not.
And if you don't, like, hey, you do you. But like,
you're like not that funny.
I guess. Well, but I guess I'm curious, like, people who don't like this movie, kind of like, what don't you like about it? Like, is it you just don't like that kind of comedy, or is it, do you find this movie has more of like a sexist point of view?
Which I think could be an argument.
Well, that's what I'm curious to see like what the
but I don't
reason
know
would be.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm relatively sensitive to that sort of stuff sometimes. If I feel like, I don't know, like it's hard, like sometimes like rewatching Transformers kind of sucks because it's like,
it's Michael Bay.
Like I'm, because it's like this is so pointless and objectifying, and like, so we're just gonna like stare at her body. I don't know, like that. I can be sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Superbad has never really, I guess, bothered me in that way. Partly because it's just so funny. Like it's just so funny.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got the funny out of the way because now we're gonna get a little bit more,
a little sad,
a little bit more emotional.
Yeah. Oh, I do love this one. So our next film is Stand By Me. It was made in 1986, and it is directed by, we love him on this channel, Mr. Rob Reiner.
I mean,
King, he's awesome.
It's so funny because I had only seen this movie like halfway through once, maybe. Like I know I'd seen some of it, but I'd never seen it like start to finish. So this was really nice, like as kind of a first watch, I guess you could say. And at the end, I'm like, oh, wow, that was a great movie. And then it's like directed by Rob Reiner. I was like, oh, fucking course.
Of course it is.
Of course it's directed by Rob. Of course it's an amazing movie and it's directed by Rob Reiner. Yeah. Rob Reiner, we fucking love you.
We love you. This is now our 3rd Rob Reiner film. We've previously discussed This Is Spinal Tap, which is, I mean, unequivocally one of the greatest comedies ever made.
Literally.
And The Princess Bride, which is unequivocally one of the greatest like fairy tale movies ever made. So if not the greatest.
Love you.
Love you, dude.
Love you,
have
baby.
not let us down yet.
No.
It was written by Bruce A. Evans and Reynold Gideon, and it was based on the novella The Body by Stephen King. They changed the title from The Body to Stand By Me. I prefer the title The Body personally, but
I think based on the movie,
just like with the title Stand By Me and the poster, I never would have watched this movie if when I was like a kid, my parents were like, you have to watch it. I just wouldn't have, never, I don't know.
it doesn't really seem like your kind of movie.
The body is like a little evocative. It's like, oh, like what's the body? Whose body?
It's interesting because I kind of think the body kind of gives it that more Stephen King type of like,
yes,
ooh, what's this about? It's about a body. But Stand By Me, the title gives me more of like okay, it's about the friendship of these boys.
Yes. Just a little fun fact, in a 2016 interview, Stephen King was quoted saying that Stand By Me is his favorite adaptation of his work ever.
Really?
Yes. I have read the novella, The Body. The movie is like beat by beat the same. It makes sense that he does love it because it's exactly the story that he told.
Well, to be honest and to be fair to other Stephen King adaptations, this is really his most like coming of age. I hate to be like normal, but like it is the easiest to adapt to the screen because there's no real supernatural element as
That's
opposed to
fair.
something like The Shining.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you may not know this about me, but in middle school, I went through like a kind of crazy Stephen King phase where I read a lot of Stephen King.
I love Stephen King.
Love Stephen King. Especially like his early work kind of around the era of where he wrote The Body and Misery and The Shining and Pet Sematary. It's like, oh my God.
No, that
hit
was
after hit
banger
after hit.
after banger.
Oh, I mean, even he's still churning them out. He's like 85.
Oh no, my mom just read like one of his newest books and she was like, oh, you gotta go. Like that's on my like next to be read.
Stephen King does love like a group of young misfits, and he loves like the town bully who's just kind of evil. Like,
right.
even just like watch, it's like this is the most like Ace in the movie, the character who we'll get into, it's the most like Stephen King bully of like, you're just evil.
Right. You just hate like just to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just think that that's sweet. And he said that The Shawshank Redemption is his second favorite adaptation of his work.
That movie makes me fucking cry.
Yeah, it's a sad one.
So does this one too.
So Stand By Me was distributed by Columbia Pictures, and it received a limited theatrical release in 1986. And it's kind of been hailed since then as a bit of a modern classic.
So the movie opens in the year 1985. Gordy LaChance, who is played by Richard Dreyfuss, is a successful writer and reads a newspaper article about a stabbing involving his childhood best friend, Chris. Very overcome with nostalgia, he begins to narrate the story of the first time he saw a dead human body, which was during the summer of 1959.
Yes, and the rest of the movie, up until the very end, is a flashback of this story.
Particular summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that summer, Gordy, young Gordy is played by Will Wheaton, and his three best friends, Chris, Teddy, and Vern, who are respectively played by River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell. They're all 12 years old and living in the town of Castle Rock, Oregon. Gordy's older brother, Denny, died in a car accident 4 months earlier, and Gordy's relationship with his parents has become really strained since Denny's death.
Yeah, it's very obvious that Denny was kind of like the golden boy, like football player, really well liked, really popular. And Gordy is like a little bit more introverted, a bit nerdier. He's a writer. Mm-hmm. And Denny is also kind of like the only one who was like really in his corner in the household. And now that he's gone, not only are his parents like mourning the death of their son, but they clearly have like some sort of almost like a resentment towards Gordy.
Yes, and Gordy feels it very painfully.
Yes. So Vern has just overheard his older brother Billy telling his friend that they found the body of Ray Brower, who is a little boy from their town who's gone missing. So Billy found this body in the woods near the train track, but Billy's not planning on informing the police because it could draw attention to a car theft that he committed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Gordy and his friends decide to go find the body because they basically decide that like if they report finding this body, they'll be kind of like local heroes and maybe like they'll get like medals and maybe even like a cash prize. I
Yeah.
don't know. They decide to set out for the next morning, telling their parents that they're kind of like sleeping over. So like, oh, you say you're sleeping at my house, I'll say you're sleeping at, you know, his house, and etc.
Yes. And really quick, just like kind of to break down our gang of boys that we're following, it's very kind of clear immediately that Chris, who's played by River Phoenix, is like the leader.
Yes.
He's like, I think he's like a year older than the other ones. He's like the one who takes charge. Gordy, who's our main character, who's also narrating as an adult, he's like the kind of quiet, creative one, and him and Chris are like best friends.
Yes.
Vern is the nerdy fat kid.
He is hilarious.
But he's so funny.
He's like the scaredy pants. He's the one who's always like cautious and doesn't really want to like do like anything too dangerous.
Yes. The really kind of interesting one, I mean, they're all interesting, truly. But I've always found Teddy a little interesting. So Teddy is played by Corey Feldman, and he is, we learn as the film goes on that he is abused by his father, who is like a veteran, who's like an alcoholic, who has a lot of trauma about the war.
Yeah, clearly just like came back from the war like with something wrong.
Yeah. And Teddy has this weird kind of, he half idolizes his father as like this war hero and wants to be like him. And then on the other half kind of like fears him. And Teddy's also probably the most like impulsive one out of the group. But it's like, Teddy's that kid where it's like he could go in either direction. Like he could go down a really bad path or a good one. Like
he's a kid with clearly like a good heart, but he is so like, you're right, impulsive and a little bit like unstable at times. Yeah. He's kind of like a loose cannon.
Yeah, a little bit.
So in the morning, Gordy meets up with Chris in town, and Chris shows him the handgun that he stole from his father's desk.
There's like a funny moment where he hands it to Gordy, who accidentally fires it.
Yeah.
And they're both like terrified.
Yeah, because they're
off.
like, I didn't know it was loaded. They also run into the town bully. His name is Ace Merrill, and he's played by Kiefer Sutherland.
Who's so good at this like Stephen King bully character.
Well, he's also, have you ever seen The Lost Boys?
Yes.
Yeah, like he's just good at being evil.
He is. But yeah, he's just like this teenager who's just evil.
He's literally like a sociopath, and he threatens Chris and steals Gordy's Yankee cap, which was a gift from his brother Denny.
Yeah, so Ace stealing the cap is like really messed up.
And Ace knows that it's his dead brothers.
Yeah.
So it just shows what a dick he is.
So Chris and Gordy meet up with Teddy and Vern at the train tracks, and they begin their journey, which is I love like the spirit of like kids on an adventure.
I do too. I was just thinking, I was like, man, I love the whole like, and this is something that like really can't be done today with just with like technology, but like I love the like kids like putting on their backpacks and like trudging through the woods, and
There's
like
something about like the spirit of it, and it's like these kids who like don't know much about the world, but they're setting off to do something that's like important to them, and
yeah, it's the
alone.
same thing.
And it's, I don't know, it's just something really lovely about that.
It's the same thing as like the movie starts with like the boys in a treehouse, like all sitting together, and I was like, first of all, I fucking wanted a treehouse so
badly,
so bad when I was little. It was all I wanted. But it's the kind of that same thing where it's like, oh, that's their spot. It's like their hiding place kind of thing. It's like any kid today is like watching like YouTube on their like flat screen TV.
There's nothing like to romanticize about that.
So after stopping at a junkyard for water, they are caught trespassing by the owner Milo and his dog Chopper.
It's terrifying dog.
Terrifying.
Like the world's largest dog.
Yeah, that's like the legend of like the junkyard dog. So Milo also calls Teddy's mentally ill veteran father a loony, and Teddy tries to attack Milo, but his friends restrain him. And this is kind of where we get like more insight into Teddy's home life.
Yeah. So the four boys continue their hike while crossing a train trestle, which is like a bridge that only has train tracks on it.
Yes.
So if you're on that bridge when a train is coming, you die.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere for you to go.
Yeah. The bridge is like 100 feet above the water.
Yeah. When crossing a train trestle, Gordy and Vern are nearly hit by a passing train. This scene is like terrifying. If they're walking across this bridge and they start to feel the train tracks shake, and it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we need to cross this bridge before a train comes because like we will die if we don't.
Can I say something just because I noticed it when I was watching this scene in the movie? I fucking love the cinematography in this movie.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, but it is done in such a great way. Fucking Rob Reiner rocks. And I don't
Kills
know
it.
who's the DP on this movie, but you rocked whoever you are. Like the shot particularly where Gordy yells train, I almost want to like take that and put it in like a children's book as like an illustration.
Yeah.
Is it not? It's so good. It feels so fragmented, like from a child's point of view, but it's also so scenic and so detailed at times. It's so well done, especially for like this kind of 80s coming of age movie. It knows exactly what it is, and
Yes.
it really embraces that. It doesn't try to be overly moody or serious or like artistic. It's so, I mean, it is, but it is in its own element.
Yeah.
That evening, the boys sit around a campfire and Gordy decides to tell a story that he created about a kid named Lardass Hogan. He's an obese boy who is bullied, and seeking payback for his bullying, he downs a bottle of castor oil before entering a pie eating contest and then throws up all over the audience, which creates this like mass vomiting like kind of cycle. And I love how in this like story, because we see everyone like getting sick at the pieing contest, people who weren't in the contest are also throwing up blueberry pie.
Yeah.
It's such a like fun little detail.
It's so like, no, that I didn't even think about that, but you're so right.
Yeah, like the people in the stands.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But no, I love the like the visceral evocative language of like this gross story that Gordy's telling. But you see immediately, even as a kid, it's like you're a storyteller.
No, he is.
And like, and obviously we know that he grows up to be a writer, but that's like this, I just thought that that's like what a great little thing. It's like, and you're telling my friends like, no, like I want to be a writer, I want to write stories. And then it's like, oh, that's who you are.
And I love, we'll get into it later, but the friendship between these boys is so sweet and endearing. And I love how supportive all of his friends are that he wants to be a writer.
Yes.
They really don't tease him ever for
No.
it. They're like, tell us a story. And it's so sweet. And then I like at the end when they're like giving him notes. They're like, I like the story, but I don't know if I like the ending.
Yeah. So later that night, they decide to like sleep in shifts to, I don't know.
I think they're like scared about like animals or something like that.
Understandably.
Yeah.
So Gordy and Chris are awake while Vern and Teddy are asleep, and Chris like breaks down in tears. This is, I mean, it's a really beautiful scene. It's a very famous scene from the movie, kind of admitting to Gordy that he hates being associated with his family. Like
He comes from like a very like known like bad family.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because like the reason he's breaking down is I'm like actually gonna cry. This scene made me so emotional when Chris is like, I wish I could just go somewhere where no one knows me, because it's like it's not like a super relatable thing, but it is one of those things you understand where it's like, oh wow, you're just doomed like from the start. Like you come from a bad family, so you're just inherently bad.
Yeah.
To nobody who like knows you.
It's so, I mean, I guess that's kind of the nature of, I grew up in a city, so I can't connect with it personally, but you can imagine living in a small town, the kind of like preconceived notions that people have about certain families or certain people or certain areas. Like,
I didn't grow up in that small of a town, but like growing up, you know, if you live in one community your whole life, like there even was like a family who like everyone was like, oh yeah, like those kids like are.
Aww.
And you know, even working in a school now, like you hear teachers talk like that about some of their students, and it's just so upsetting that like that's really how it is sometimes. Like kids are just not given a chance.
And especially in this film, we see that Chris is like this kind of natural leader, like really intelligent.
And he has such a good heart. Like he's such a good friend to Gordy.
Yeah, like, and then seeing him break down after kind of like he's the bravest one, he's the spine of the group, and seeing him like get really vulnerable is really heart-wrenching. Also, just like, I mean, respect to the late River Phoenix.
So talented.
Oh my God.
Like crazy talented, especially for how young he was here.
Yeah. I like turning in this, and honestly, all the boys. Like,
No, all of the actors
really all of
really do a
them.
great job.
But like turning in this kind of, he gives the performance of like a seasoned adult actor. Like,
Absolutely.
it's such a layered and mature performance for someone his age.
Oh, it's such a like beautiful moment too with their friendship.
It is. I mean, this scene, this is the scene that brings grown men to tears. Like,
I'm actually
it's a
kind of
scene.
getting a little choked up talking about it.
It's a really beautiful moment, and a beautiful moment of like friendship and companionship.
So the next day, after some more hiking, the boys finally make it to Ray's body. It's lying down in some bushes. They decide to build a stretcher, but Gordy just kind of like has a breakdown.
Understandably. I mean, his brother just passed away
4 months ago.
Yeah. And I think even seeing the body, because the concept of the body to the boys is something foreign. Mm-hmm. And then when they're all actually like faced with the body, they're all a little shell-shocked.
They're speechless.
Yeah. Like I don't think any of them had seen a dead body before.
You have to assume also like a lot of them probably haven't really dealt with death.
Yeah.
Like they're so young. Mm-hmm. There's a good chance that like really they haven't had to deal with such a heavy topic yet.
But Gordy like starts like hyperventilating. I think it just resurfaces like all of this very recent trauma that he's just been through.
He starts to break down. I mean, not only is he like grieving his brother's death, that he really hasn't had the chance to grieve. He mentions that he hasn't really cried about his brother since his passing, but he also kind of breaks down about how not only does his father not understand him, he really believes that like his father hates him.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's some sort of resentment that Gordy feels for being the one who's still alive.
Yes. And feeling like he knows that his parents would have rather lost him than Denny.
Yes. And Chris tries to comfort Gordy, just saying like, your father just doesn't know you.
That line is so beautiful to me when, oh my God, this like might make me cry, low-key. Oh. When Gordy's like, he hates me, and Chris is like, no, like he just doesn't know you. It's so, and it's just like, also like, how are you 12 and you have the perfect thing to say?
Right.
Like that is, I mean, I don't know. That line always makes me a little emotional hearing it.
I think especially because like, from Chris's point of view, like him and Gordy are such good friends. I always take that line to
Chris
be like,
sees that there's so much to love about Gordy.
Like he's like, no, he doesn't know you because how could he hate you? Because you're so good.
So this beautiful moment is immediately interrupted by Ace and his gang, who have also been searching for the body. And we've seen them in little flashes throughout the film that they're kind of a little behind the boys on the trail.
Yes.
Chris refuses to back down because Ace is like, well, we're going to take the body back to town and like hopefully get a cash prize.
Yeah.
And,
he's
be
like
heroes.
He's like, there's two options. You could leave and we could take the body, or you could stay and we beat you and we can still take the body.
So Chris, just like being the natural leader that he is, just like refuses just to back down. And Ace draws a switchblade because again, Stephen King bullies are just evil.
Well, also Chris kind of hits him below the belt and makes a very interesting comment about Ace's relationship with his mother.
Yes.
That clearly, like, from the reaction of the other guys, maybe has some truth to it.
No, it kind of seemed like it.
Yeah.
And Gordy grabs Chris's gun and fires a warning shot and is just like, I will shoot you.
Oh, that scene is so great. When Ace is like, what are you going to shoot all of us? And he's like, so stone cold. He's like, nope, I'm just going to kill you. And Ace is like fucking scared.
Yeah.
Like he realizes, he's like, oh no, this kid's not playing.
Yeah. Which like, and it's also really great to see Gordy like kind of like man up and really take charge in that moment.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
It's really nice to see. And Ace vows revenge, but he does leave.
Yeah. The boys decide that exploiting Ray Brower's death for local fame would be wrong, and they decide to make like an anonymous phone call to report the body. They arrive back home the next morning. Then we kind of cut back to the present day. Gordy is finishing a book about this experience in this particular summer. We learn that Vern got married and became a forklift operator. Teddy tried to get into the army but was rejected due to his poor eyesight. Chris then took college prep courses with Gordy and later became a lawyer.
So he broke the cycle.
Yeah, he was able to, and that's like a thing in the movie where he's like, oh, I'm not going to get into like study courses or whatever. I'm kind of destined to work in like a shop and, you know, kind of do what my family's always done. And so you're like, oh, Chris became a lawyer.
But Gordy also tells us that they kind of drifted apart as they became adults, as you do. And recently, while attempting to break up a fight in a restaurant, Chris was stabbed to death. And that was the newspaper article that he was reading at the very beginning.
I'm going to cry.
I know that caused him to recall this adventure that they went on. And Gordy ends his narration and the film with the following words. He says, I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone?
And that's the end of the movie. Oh my God, my voice is breaking a little bit.
No, it's like a really, really, it's such a lovely movie.
Honestly.
And it's funny.
It's funny, but honestly, like the only way I can describe this movie is sweet.
Yeah.
Like it is such a sweet film. I don't know, just seeing their friendship and seeing like just also like Chris's death at the end. It's sad, but you're also so happy that he was at least able to break the cycle and
like achieve something for himself.
And you so know that Gordy wouldn't be a writer today had it not been for his friends.
Yes. Who like encouraged him.
Yeah. Cause like you can only assume that his parents
I mean, I
didn't really
Gordy,
change.
I think Gordy even says at one point that they just think that his dream is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't have faith in him. And it's then really wonderful to see his friends who have so much faith in him and are almost like, how can you not think that that's what you're meant to do? It's a beautiful, beautiful film. My one gripe with it really just is that last line.
Olivia doesn't like the last line.
I don't like the last line, which is in the context of the film is very beautiful. But, I've never had any friends like the ones I had when I was 12. Does anyone? I didn't have any friends when I was 12. I didn't have one friend. I was a weirdo. You probably wouldn't have wanted to be my friend, but like, that's fine. But I'm also just like, I don't know. Like those were very lonely ages for me.
Right.
And
so it's hard to relate to.
And it's just like something that I personally can't relate to. I feel like I found myself and then like found my people more in high school. Yeah. And that line actually, if anything, it sparks like jealousy. I don't know. I was a very like socially awkward kid who most of my time I just spent like shocker.
Reading Stephen King.
No, literally. I just like spent most of my time like alone reading and really didn't come into my own as like a social being until high school.
I mean, I'm sorry you had that experience.
No, I mean not even like in like a pity me way, but seeing this bond and this camaraderie in this film, like there's something so special about it. And I think maybe especially to me because I don't have an experience like that. Like it seems so magical. And like I think that maybe that's what it is for me, especially with Stand By Me, just at those ages specifically. We're like Dead Poet Society, which we'll talk about next. That's something I can relate to a little more because that was the age
in
where
high school.
Yeah. And that was the age where it's like I had my crew and I had my friends and like I felt like I could be myself around people. But at these ages, there's something like really magical about like these stories, or even, I mean, another Stephen King coming of age one, It. There's something so magical about
It's
that
a very
group.
special age period where
there's still like a little bit of innocence.
There's tons of innocence. Again, like this is the age that around the age that I work with. And like these kids are old enough to kind of start figuring out who they are as people, but also so young that they're so inexperienced in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see if other people have like a similar experience to yours, like, and if they also feel some sort of like jealousy in a movie like Stand By Me.
Like that is really,
because it's interesting. Like I actually feel that's where I feel like the most nostalgia with that last line is like, oh my gosh, yeah, like the friends I had when I was like 12, like, you know, some I talked to today and they're still very close, and some I haven't talked to since we were 12, but like, yeah, they were fundamental in the person I am. And I still look back at those memories and like, they're some of my core values. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, like, again, how adolescence just has such a different shape that molds for everybody.
No, exactly. But it's also at the same time, I wouldn't, and I know I sound a little like woe is me, and like I really don't. It didn't mean any of that.
Guys, pity Olivia.
Shut up.
I'm kidding.
Don't. No, like I really didn't mean any of that in a way where I'm trying to evoke pity.
I know.
Looking back, it's like I really wouldn't change anything because it like everything that happens to you in your life makes you into the person you are today.
Absolutely.
And I like the person I am today.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't see the world in the same way as I do without every experience that I've had, the good and the bad. It just, yeah, I actually, especially on this viewing, I really surprised myself with how jealous I got. But yeah, there's something very magical about Stand By Me to me. Rob Reiner is so good
Great.
at creating a mood.
Yes.
Like this one, The Princess Bride, they feel like a hug. Like it just
Even
it feels like
When Harry Met Sally, which is another film by him.
Yes.
Like, you're right. It feels like a hug. It feels like someone's like tucking you into bed. Like,
and there's something in these movies, and I can't even put my finger on it because it's like a je ne sais quoi type thing of he can just get at a feeling and a mood, and all of his films just feel like home.
yes, he's Pookie. We love him.
We love him.
We
Rob
love
Reiner.
you, Rob Reiner.
We know you're watching,
King,
and
if
we
you-
just want you to know we're big fans.
Please keep making movies.
Please. So what's your rating? What would be your final rating?
For a first watch, like first fully, you know, start to finish watch, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I'm going 8.5.
Wow.
I really, really love Stand By Me. And again, something we didn't touch on so much, it's very funny.
No, it's really
Like
funny.
the banter between all the boys is hilarious. They're so great. Like
Yeah.
it's such a feel-good watch, and it's a movie that you can recommend to literally anybody and they'll love it.
Yeah.
Like 8.5 out of 10, 100% for me. Yeah.
So our final movie is one of my favorites.
It's a really good one.
It is Dead Poets Society, made in the year 1989. It is a drama, and it was directed by Peter Weir, written by Tom Schulman. It's set in the same same kind of age category as Superbad, where it's like they're seniors, maybe juniors in high school.
I think they're juniors.
Yeah.
It's actually same age as Superbad, but it also takes place in the 50s, like Stand By Me. So,
Yes, so
same age as
weirdly, like,
Superbad, same
connected.
era as Stand By Me.
It's, first of all, it's such a visually beautiful film.
It is. This is like the academia aesthetic.
Oh, one of my first notes is literally like, I wish I went to that school. Like,
Right. I mean, it's so beautiful. I feel like every kid who didn't go to boarding school has always kind of like fantasized about going to boarding school.
Totally.
You know, honestly, if I went, I'd probably hate it. And I have friends who
Oh,
did go and didn't like
that
it.
school in the movie is a prison. I just
Yeah.
means more so like the campus.
The campus and like the feeling of being a teenager and like kind of living on your own with all your friends.
Yeah.
Like there's something fun about that.
Absolutely. So the movie was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, and it received a wide theatrical release in June of 1989, and it had 3 Academy Award nominations and 1 win.
Yes. It won Best Original Screenplay. Fair enough.
Yep.
And it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and Robin Williams got a Best Actor nomination.
Honestly, I guess I would be curious to see what else was nominated that year.
Director was an interesting nomination, but
I
sure.
think it's
okay.
a great, really well-directed film.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be, I think Best Original Screenplay, like, great.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would be curious to see what else was nominated that year, because I would not be upset if this won like a Best Picture.
No, me neither.
Or Robin Williams winning Best Actor. He's so good in this movie.
I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't win. This is peak Robin Williams. Like, this is Robin Williams at his most Robin Williams.
I'll get into it later, but honestly, like watching this movie and seeing him in it, like it genuinely made me really emotional.
Yeah.
Like just like the nature of like seeing him.
It's if charm was personified. He is just incomparable, really.
I have to ask before we start, is there a teacher who you've ever had who was like had like a Mr. Keating type impact on you?
Honestly, no.
Wow.
I've had really good teachers. In high school, I had an English teacher, and I had him for 2 years because he did like honors sophomore English, and then I took AP Lang with him. And I really I thought he was such a great teacher, Mr. Miller. He's not watching. But I really, really loved Mr. Miller. But I wouldn't say I've never had a teacher that's had like a transformative impact on me the way that Mr. Keating has in this film.
Interesting. It's interesting because like when I was watching this movie, I've had a lot of teachers who like I've really loved and stuff like that. But 3 stand out to me. Coincidentally, all 3 were English teachers too, just like Mr. Keating is. But they really
also, we have to admit that we're the personalities that are liked by most English teachers.
Yes, definitely.
I always want to add to the conversation.
Yes. I love a good class conversation. I love reading a good book. But I've had 3 teachers who like really changed how I am as a writer or how I read or how I interpret authors and different pieces of work, but also just like have like really helped me like learn more about myself.
That's wonderful.
So shout out to Mr. Heiseroth, Furfy. I hope that queen is watching. I love her so much. I just went back and taught screenwriting with her.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And then Dr. Ladatio. So those 3 really could not be more amazing professors and teachers and doctors. So
that's really
love
nice.
you guys. So do you think we should just get into it?
Yeah, let's jump in. So the year is 1959. Todd Anderson is our main character. He's played by Ethan Hawke, and he's like this painfully shy 16-year-old. He is just transferred to Welton Academy for his junior year of high school. Welton is an extremely rigorous all-male Catholic boarding school in Vermont. And it's kind of very clear from the get-go, this is like an extremely difficult, strict, like Ivy League feeder school.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like this is like the top of the top.
Yeah. Like the best people go there, the best doctors and psychiatrists and lawyers and whoever. But yeah, it is very, very strict. Literally to the point where like when the boys are like walking in between classes, like they're not allowed to like leisure. Like they're like, all right, hurry up and get to class.
No, yeah, I went to Catholic school for some of elementary and middle school, and that's what it was. We actually, once to leave a class, we had to line up in the hallway and then like go to another class, and we weren't allowed to talk.
Yeah, but even then, like that's a middle school where kids are a bit younger. Like these are like high schoolers. Like,
yeah, no,
and
that's
they're
true,
on a closed campus.
This is not
crazy.
Foreign to Catholic schools, is what I'm saying. That it's like, as someone who did go to Catholic school, like, that is kind of the vibe.
So Todd's roommate is Neil Perry. He's played by Robert Sean Leonard, who I really feel like is an actor who never got his flowers.
No.
He is so, so talented. As someone who
So
loved
good in this role,
watching
too.
House too, he is like, he's just such a great actor.
Yeah. No, he kills it every time. And I feel like I don't see him that much.
No,
but whenever I do, he kills it.
He flies under the radar. So Neil is one of Welton's top students. Through Neil, Todd meets his friends, including Knox, Cameron, and Charlie, who are respectively played by Josh Charles, Dylan Kussman, and Gail Hansen.
And there's like a couple other boys in their little friend group that just kind of round out the group a bit, but don't end up playing a huge part in the story.
Yeah, I would say those 3, Knox, Charlie, and Cameron, are kind of like the key players.
Yes.
But the story really revolves around Neil and Todd and their journey throughout high school.
So a new English teacher has also just joined the staff this year. Welton alumni John Keating, who's played by Robin Williams, famously, he has also just started his first year as a teacher at Welton.
I think it's so important that Mr. Keating is an alumni. Like
Yes.
I think that's such an important piece in his character, is that he has been one of those boys.
Strongly agree.
So on the first day of class, the boys are surprised by Mr. Keating's unusual teaching methods. He encourages his students to seize the day.
Carpe diem.
Carpe diem. And tells them to rip out the introduction of their poetry books, which kind of like has a mathematical formula for poetry.
It's like how to measure the greatness of a poem using a graph. And Mr. Keating's like, that's trash, actually. Like, rip it out. And these boys who have like they like get their knuckles slapped with a ruler if they like aren't sitting up straight. And they're like they're all like really reluctant
terrified
to rip out a page of a textbook. Like, they've never been given permission to do that before. It's a great scene.
Yeah, it's just he's immediately kind of captivating the students and changing their way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So as the semester goes on, Mr. Keating has the students take turns standing on his desk to demonstrate ways of looking at life differently, and invites them to make up their own style of marching to encourage individualism. So he's basically teaching them to be like free thinkers.
Yeah, and just with these weird little exercises he's doing, he's like, okay, we're all going to take turns and you're all going to stand on my desk and look around the room and see the world from a new perspective.
Which I, again, working in education, like I find that the best teachers do things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like will kind of think of fun ways to introduce a lesson or to like kind of get their students out of like thinking the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But this completely goes against what the school is about.
Like the entire real MO of what this school is.
Their whole thing is like tradition, discipline, and like following the rules.
Yes. So Neil and Todd discover, they like look in some old, because they're like, they want to see what Mr. Keating looked like when he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So they look through some old yearbooks and discover that Keating had been a member of something called the Dead Poet Society during his time as a student at Welton. And Neil goes to speak to Mr. Keating about like, hey, like, what's the Dead Poet Society? And Keating's like, oh, like it was, you know, kind of a secret club where me and some guys, we'd sneak off and we'd just like read poems and like experience the beauty of language together.
And at first, all the boys are like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's great. You guys got to try it. Neil wants to restart it. And so all of the boys sneak off campus to this cave in the woods and read poetry and joke around with each other. And it's nice because like all the boys are kind of like, hey, it's something to do. And it's like a little social club. But
and
Neil,
it's a little like sneaky and exciting.
Yeah. But Neil is like genuinely really into it. He loves the aspect of like reading poetry. And it's a great way where we start to see like a little bit more about Neil's character.
Yes.
We also get to see a little bit more about Todd's character, where Neil is encouraging him to come with, and Neil's so sweet to Todd.
Yeah.
Who's like such a wallflower.
He's a wallflower and he's the new kid.
Yeah.
Like these guys are already friends. Todd is the one who's like, hey, I just started here.
Yeah. So Todd agrees to go, but he doesn't want to like actually read the poetry. He just kind of wants to like sit and observe.
And Neil's like, that's cool. Like, you can come and just like hang out with us.
But you can tell Todd's really into it too.
Yeah.
Like both of them are really into the poetry aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So inspired by Mr. Keating's lessons and their involvement in the club, the boys start attempting to live life kind of like as free thinkers and on their own terms. Neil discovers his love of acting and actually gets the role of Puck in a local production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, despite the disapproval of his very controlling father.
Yeah, Neil's father is like the devil.
He is the like epitome of like an authoritarian.
Yes, because he's very, very strict. Like very early on in the film, like when all the boys are moving into the dorm, Neil's father is like reprimanding him about like, well, you need to quit the school newspaper for like this, and this. And Neil's like, why? Like, I really like being on the school newspaper. And it's like, no, but you need to focus on X, Y, and Z. I forget exactly what it was. And it's quite clear that for some kind of like strict movie parents, you can make the argument of like, you know what? You just want the best for your kid. Neil's father is a control freak.
He wants to mold Neil into what he believes he should be. To him, Neil is not his own person. Neil is his son.
Yes.
That he can control.
But it's all about control. Like, there is no reason that Neil shouldn't be able to do this play. I think he even says to his father, he's like, I'm a straight A student. Like, I do everything you want me to do. Why can't I also do this? And his father is just like, because I don't want you to.
He's literally like, because it's a waste of time and it's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so he just can't do anything for himself.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And it only gets worse.
So Keating also helps Todd kind of come out of his shell and find his voice by taking him through this insane poetry exercise in front of the entire class. And it results in Todd spontaneously composing this really interesting poem in front of the class. And it's this really great scene when all the boys are like, that was awesome.
Yeah, they're like, go Todd.
Like, you just came up with that?
That is,
and it's so
first
like,
of all, like...
I love that.
I love that scene so much, but it's also one of those scenes where I'm like, that would never happen in real life.
No, it would never,
like,
ever
he
happen.
would probably choke up, but...
He would probably choke up, and then all the other kids would be like, this is weird.
Yeah. but
it's really sweet to see that something that he was, like, so embarrassed about, like, everyone is actually, like, excited for him.
And it's also so great because from early on, you can tell Todd, like, even... Keating says it. He's like, you have a poet inside of you. Like, you're hiding something, but you get what I'm trying to do here. Like, I would argue more so than some of the other students.
100%.
And so it's so nice to see, like, Todd's talent really recognized and, like, kind of verbalized.
Yeah, and slowly throughout the film, and it's really with the influence of Mr. Keating and Neil, Todd really starts to come out of his shell and like really starts to develop as a person. And it's really like, it's kind of the through line of the whole film is like Todd coming into himself. And it's really nice to see. And this is like a really important scene in Todd's development, and also a great scene that shows that all these boys are like into what Mr. Keating's doing.
They love it.
They love it. They love that they can go to this class and experience the beauty of language in a fun and interesting way.
Well, also that they can express themselves and like actually kind of joke around, and like they're on such a tight leash at this school.
Yeah.
They're expected to sit down, shut up, and do their work and do it well. And so like when they go to a class where the professor is like having them like play football for the first like 15 minutes, it's like, yeah, like of course they're gonna like it. They're teenage boys.
Yeah.
They're still human.
But it's like so clearly like this is a reservoir in this desert of a school.
So Charlie, who's one of the boys in this group, publishes an article in the school newspaper on behalf of the Dead Poets Society, demanding that girls be admitted to Welton.
Very funny.
Charlie might be my favorite in the group.
Charlie's like the jester a little bit
Yes.
of the group. He takes it the least seriously, but he is equally as affected by Keating's kind of call to action of like, you should be your own man and live your own lives.
He's also such a good friend to both
He is.
Todd and Neil.
Yeah.
Like he's so supportive of them. However, this goes very wrong, and he is paddled by the headmaster, Nolan, as a punishment for this newspaper.
Yeah, back in the 50s when they could do that.
I literally wrote, not the spanking.
We're right back with secretary
Yeah. So Nolan then confronts Keating and basically advises him that like he shouldn't be encouraging students to like question authority. And Keating warns the boys that one must assess all potential consequences of one's actions. I actually really love this scene.
It's a great scene.
Because Charlie kind of expects Keating to side with him.
Yeah, Charlie's like, no, but like, I'm carpe diem.
Yeah,
like,
seize the day.
and Keating's like, no, but like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, all you did was like get yourself in trouble. Like, that's not seizing the day. Like, you didn't do anything with that. And he's not as harsh as that. But
right. He's much more.
He's just like, you need to like actually think about what the consequences of your actions might be.
Yeah. And but he's still like kind of gives him like a little pat, and he's
and kind of being like, it was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And that's why Keating's such a great teacher, is because he doesn't say what the boys want to hear all the time. He says what they need to hear.
Yeah.
And again, he's able to kind of give them like a little bit of tough love.
And even Charlie, who's so like, the one that doesn't care about what anyone thinks. I love that moment when he's talking to Keating, and Keating's words, like, you can see them resonate with Charlie.
Yeah, you can tell he actually like really cares that like Keating approves of him.
Yeah, which is like, that's what, when someone has like a positive role model, like that's kind of what you'd expect.
So before the opening night of A Midsummer Night's Dream, Neil's father discovers that Neil is in this play and demands that he quits.
Yeah, and this is like a hard kind of sequence. Neil goes to Mr. Keating and is kind of just like, can you please give me some advice? Like, what do I do? And Mr. Keating gives him good advice, but Mr. Keating doesn't know Neil's father.
That's true.
So he says, like, you should be honest with him and tell him that, like, this is something you really love. And, like, you should get him to come to the play, because when he sees you up there, like, he's going to realize that this is your passion. And, like, just be honest with him and tell him that, like, you really want to do the play.
Right.
And Neil, you can kind of see even in Neil's face of like, oh, like, you just don't understand.
Yeah, he even at first is kind of like, my father won't listen to me. And Mr. Keating's like, no, like,
you can make him listen.
You can do it.
And so Neil lies to Mr. Keating and says that, yeah, you know, like, oh, I told my dad and he's, you know, he's letting me do it. And Keating's like so happy about it.
So happy for him.
We do find out that Neil lied, though. He didn't tell his father that he told his father that, okay, I'll quit, and then just did the play anyway.
This is a little bit jaunting, and I apologize, but I feel like there's really, before we get to that scene in the film, I really want to talk about Todd and Neil.
Yeah.
And their kind of dynamic. I think this movie does a really great job of showing how Todd and Neil are perfect foils of each other.
Yes.
So Todd is destined to fail, in my opinion. Todd's older brother went to Welton, and he was like star student, big shoes to fill. And Todd is just clearly not what his brother is made out to be. His brother's made out to be like super well liked, kind of like a golden boy type of thing. And Todd just isn't that. He's shy. He's introverted. He's a good student, but you can only guess he's not like the best.
Top. Yeah.
And his parents, like, because they've kind of had this success with Todd's older brother, they really treat him like an afterthought. If anything, they don't really think about him at all. This is no better shown than in the scene where it's Todd's birthday and they get him the same desk set as they did the year before.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even remember that they got him the same thing last year. And Todd's like, they'll probably get it for me next year too. No,
and Neil is like the only one that makes him feel better about it too.
Right.
Like, he makes light of it.
So in my opinion, Todd is destined to fail. He will never live up to his brother's, like, he'll never fill his brother's shoes. And because of that, again, this is just my opinion, he's kind of free to be more what he wants to be.
Yes.
He's given more freedom in life where he doesn't have such a tight leash on him. Neil is destined for greatness. He's destined to succeed. He is the golden boy. He is well liked by everyone. Teachers like him, students like him. He's handsome. He's the top student, and he's destined to become like a really successful doctor. But because he is set up for greatness, he has no freedom to do anything else. Like, that is what his destiny is. He is going to go to Harvard. He's going to become a doctor, and there is really nothing else he can do. So he, like, both boys kind of want what the other has. Neil would probably kill someone to be ignored by his father. His father is insanely overbearing, whereas Todd probably wishes that
his parents cared a
little bit more about what's going on with him.
That's so, I never thought about those two as foils, and you're so right. You're 100% right. I just like never really thought about it, but that's like that just added a whole new layer to the dynamic of the boys.
I think it's because like we're so focused on them individually, but the impact that they have on each other is so astronomical.
Yeah.
Like even like Neil helping Todd get out of his shell, and Todd kind of like helping Neil like discover what he likes. And obviously Keating is right in the middle of this. He is the catalyst.
He's the catalyst for all of this development.
Exactly.
But no, you're so right about, and those two really do kind of shoulder each other on their respective paths as the film goes on.
And I think that's why what we're about to get into
Yeah.
is so incredibly heavy on Todd specifically. So
If you've seen the movie,
yeah, you know
you
what's
unfortunately
happening.
know what happens next.
So they do the play. Neil's father shows up, and to no one's surprise, he is not happy with Neil wanting to become an actor. And this scene is so sad because clearly Neil is good. He's clearly a good actor.
I mean, even we see like a little snippet of him doing a scene and it's like, oh, he's very good.
And everyone afterwards is like, oh my gosh, like you were amazing.
And I mean, people who know Midsummer, like Puck is really the star of the show. Neil's father is driving him home from the play and they get home and it's like, okay, so you're not going back to that school because he did this play.
Yeah.
Which again, like his grades haven't gone down.
Nope.
He hasn't neglected any of his other responsibilities.
Nope.
It's just because, oh, you're not completely acquiescing to the molds that I want you to fit into. Like it's a little too much rebellion for me.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I like learned a Shakespeare play.
Right. Right. Sorry, I found another hobby.
Yeah. That harms no one.
No,
and
yeah.
Nothing. Like they arrive home after the play. Like he's like still like in his stage,
In his costume.
And his dad's like, okay, so you're not going back to Welton. We're enrolling you in military school. And then you're going to go from military school to Harvard. And then you're going to become a doctor. And any straying from that is like, you're going to keep getting punished.
And Neil's face when he's like, that's 10 more years of school. Like, he's literally like, it's a prison sentence.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so sad because you can tell, like, Neil's whole life, he never really wanted to go to Welton. He definitely didn't want, like, the things that his father has pushed on him. And you can tell just from that line, he's so close to getting out. Yeah. Like, you can tell he's like, I'm almost an adult. I'm almost free. And then when his dad says that, he's like, oh my God, I have like 10 more years of this.
In this scene, I've always felt it feels so cold. And maybe it's the camera because we're kind of sitting on Neil's level for a lot of it as his parents are above him. And you watching it, like, you feel like trapped and you feel cold. And it's that same, it really does evoke that feeling of like when you're a kid and your parents are mad at you and like, you know, you can't do anything about it because you're the kid who's in trouble. So you just have to like sit in it. I don't know. It really like it's so like horrible to watch this scene.
No,
it really is.
You're actually 100% right. Like I couldn't really put my finger on it, like, or how to say it, but you're so right. It's literally that feeling of like mom and dad are mad at you.
And you are in Neil's shoes and it's like, oh, there is no way out.
Yeah.
You feel that way watching it,
No,
too.
you feel just so hopeless.
Yeah.
So feeling trapped and like he has no other option, Neil takes his own life using his father's gun. This is like such a famous scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's an absolutely...
It's haunting.
It's haunting. It's very it's a very cinematic scene of, I mean... That moment from the moment where Neil sees his father in the back of the theater up until his death, it's like when you as the viewer see his father, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like you can only imagine. I don't know. It's
no,
just,
you're right.
The hopelessness starts there.
Yeah. So once again, he takes his own life. At Neil's parents' request, Nolan investigates Neil's death.
The headmaster.
Yes.
Of the school.
Now it's a big investigation at the school, which
I love. Investigate. There's nothing to investigate. You know why he took his own life. Well, you know why.
Thank you for saying that because the next words out of my mouth were going to be like, that must be the worst part of the movie for me. 100%. Is like the fact that even after their death,
you're still not taking responsibility for what you did to him.
They're in such denial. Like they immediately are like, well, who's to blame? And they refuse to take any responsibility.
And I mean, I'm sorry, Neil's mom is just like a doormat. Like it's she.
Oh, yeah.
There was even like when Neil's dad's like yelling at him after the show, you can even tell she kind of wants to comfort him, but she doesn't dare.
He literally, I think he like looks at her and says something. I can't remember what. And she's like, best to just go to bed.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, wow. So he has really nobody in his corner at his house.
But yeah, the rest of the movie, I'm just angry.
Oh, it's
so
it's rage
infuriating.
bait. It's literally rage bait.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
rage bait.
No, literally.
So
So yeah, now there's a big investigation, and during the questioning, Cameron, who is again one of the boys in this group,
and Cameron was the one who, from the beginning, Cameron was the most like, guys, I don't know if we should do this. We'll get in trouble.
he's
like,
a brown nose.
He's such a brown nose.
Yeah, and he's kind of that one in the group that like the boys don't really
Yeah, like they don't really vibe with him, but like he's just kind of a part of it.
Yeah, he's like one of the other boys' roommates, so he kind of has to be there.
Yes, and so Cameron being the turncoat is not a surprise.
Yeah, he shifts the blame onto Keating to avoid punishment for like being in the Dead Poet Society, and basically like names all the other members. So he basically is like, yes, we were part of this club, because Neil's parents believe that Keating and the school is like responsible for like their son taking his own life. And so Cameron basically is like, yeah, it's Mr. Keating. He influenced us to like think this sort of way and do these things, and he got us into this club, and he names the other members. So now all the boys are kind of named in this investigation.
So when Cameron kind of faces the other boys and is like, yeah, like I told them about the Dead Poet Society, and like I said it's Mr. Keating's fault. It's obvious. I mean, it's the most satisfying thing ever. Charlie just punches him in the face.
Oh my God, it is. First of all, you love Charlie. He's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. No, he's the best one.
Yeah. And then him just decking Cameron, who has been so annoying this whole movie. You're like, thank you.
Finally.
Yeah.
He just, I'm like, no, like hit him again. Like, actually what he just did is like evil.
And it sucks, but it's also kind of great. Charlie's expelled. So he doesn't turn on Keating. He's expelled from the school.
Yeah. As we see, like, when Todd goes in, they are asking all the boys in the Dead Poet Society to sign this document basically saying that Keating told them to like violate school rules.
Yeah,
and
basically
a
like
lie.
He's
a
a
lie.
scapegoat.
Yeah. Keating told them to violate school rules and like encourage Neil to do things against his parents' wishes. And Charlie is the only one who refuses to sign it. So he just gets expelled.
Seeing all of their signatures on that paper
Heart-wrenching.
is literally a knife to the heart.
It is.
Like, you feel like the wind is knocked out of you, that they would all like someone like Mr. Keating, who they all admire.
Yeah.
And have
and
like,
who has done nothing but like really just try to support them and like really like make them into like good men.
and they know that he doesn't deserve this. Like, they know, but they're sheepish. They're scared.
They're scared. They're kids.
Yeah.
And then we see Todd go in, and Todd's parents are there because like he's in trouble at school, and his parents are like, Todd, you should really sign it. Like, just sign it, Todd.
Oh, I feel like they're even harsher than that. They're like, well, why wouldn't you sign it? Just sign the damn thing. Like,
Yeah.
they are so, and Todd is, I mean,
But like, what do you do when
Yeah.
your parents are telling, like, that's the hard thing about it is like, you know, it's so unfair and you know that he shouldn't, but what else
what
is
other
he supposed
option
to
is there?
do?
Yeah. So Keating is fired from the school, which
Horrible.
So it's so upsetting when like the bad guys win. Like,
Yeah.
like Neil's parents will go through the rest of their lives and their son's death genuinely like slandering Keating.
Yeah.
And refusing any responsibility, and the school will do the same.
Upon Keating's departure, Headmaster Nolan temporarily takes over the English class, and on kind of his first day, Keating walks into the class because he still needs to pack up his office, and Todd, which thank God, this is like, oh, like thank God.
I know, it
so feels like
nice.
Todd like jumps out of his seat and is like, Mr. Keating, they made us sign it. Like, we did not want to sign it.
Yeah, you didn't deserve that. We're sorry.
And Keating, like, I mean, you know that he knows that.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just like, I believe you.
And it's so great because it's so easy to be selfish and angry and bitter in that situation and be like, oh, like these fucking kids just got me fired.
No, but you can see him pitying them.
Well, also, I think out of everybody, okay, well, not the boys included, but like after Neil dies, Keating has a moment where he sits at Neil's desk and just breaks down. You can tell that not only did he really care about Neil, but he, I think in a lot of ways, does feel kind of guilty.
So Todd stands up on his desk, I mean, famously, and says, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," which is a reference to the Whitman poem that they had read earlier in the year. And Keating made a joke of like, "You can call me Mr. Keating, or you can call me, oh, Captain, my Captain."
Yeah.
And stands up and like shouts it at him. And then like one by one, all the other students, like not only just those who were in the Dead Poet Society, but like the whole class,
basically
really.
like almost everyone in the class.
Except for Cameron, who sucks.
Yeah, fucking Cameron. And maybe like one other kid who is unnamed.
Yeah.
But most of the kids stand up.
They stand up and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." And Keating, like, I don't know. It's obviously a beautiful scene where it's like personifying the impact that he had on them.
Yeah, I mean, Keating just looks at them and just thanks them. And I think that, like, again, working in education, like, that's really what any good teacher wants.
Yeah.
They want to change their students for the better. They want their lessons to have an impact and to really stay with them.
Yeah.
And so I think Keating seeing that these boys, one, will not only risk like getting in trouble for him, like the headmaster's right there.
The headmaster's right there and is like yelling at
he's like,
them.
"Get down." But the fact that now, like, even Todd standing up and saying like, "We didn't mean to do that," and having this outburst, like, Keating has seen the effect that he's had on Todd, which has changed him for the better.
Todd, who was afraid to speak.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the film, and now he's like defying the headmaster to reassure like that we had nothing to do. Like that's like a big step for like just
huge step.
It really shows his growth in confidence.
Yeah. And I love how the movie kind of ends on this like melancholy note of like, well, Keating is still fired. He's still leaving. The boys still have to finish out the year there, but like there's that little spark of kind of, you know, they'll always remember him and they'll always take what he taught them to heart.
Yeah.
Like it will stay with them.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful film. I really love this film. It gets so depressing after Neil dies.
Oh my God. I mean, after Neil dies, like
it's just like the heart has been kind of your heart's been ripped out, and it's like the heart of the film has kind of been ripped out.
No, I mean, Neil was the golden boy. Like he was the heart of that group. Everyone looked to him. He was their leader. And so after he's gone, everyone's just kind of aimlessly wandering.
Yeah. I really like the film. I really don't have that much like bad to say about it. My one, it's not even a qualm. It's more of an observation that kind of made me, that I had never noticed in any previous watches. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. A couple. For a movie that is like kind of supposedly about poetry, it's not really about poetry.
No, yeah, it's not.
There's a lot of talk about the impact of poetry and the beauty of poetry. And they quote, Whitman, and they quote, Tennyson, but kind of like they'll only quote like a small piece that is something that can be applied to the like Keating wanting to nurture the boys and like wanting to see them grow.
To me, the poetry and the movie being about poetry was more like of a metaphorical thing, whereas poetry is every writer has their own unique style. Free verse can kind of just be whatever you want. But it can be messy.
And the thing about poetry too is like there's a spirit of rebellion in like every poem.
Exactly.
Because it's so like choose your own form.
And also like many poets were free thinkers who were kind of going against the status quo. So I think it's more, I've always taken the poetry to be more so as like if Mr. Keating was their math teacher, it wouldn't really work like in that metaphorical sense. But I agree with you where I would have liked to see it sprinkled a little bit more throughout the film.
I just would have liked to have like a little bit more.
One thing, and we didn't even include it in our summary because it's really irrelevant to the plot. There's this whole side plot with Knox, who's one of the boys, and this girl, Chris. And it's like this very I am not a fan of it at all. I was happy we didn't include it.
Yeah, it's not like it's that plot kind of serves. It's another way to show the audience like how Keating has inspired these boys to like go after their dreams and go after what they want. And Knox kind of deciding to actively pursue this girl is like not something that he would have decided without Keating teaching them to like seize the world by the balls or whatever.
I also think it's like a little checkbox on like a coming of age thing where it's like
it has to have a little
some
romance.
sort of romance. Yep.
But I was very uninvested in the romance plot.
It's just not my favorite part. It's
agree.
also like kind of like off-putting to watch in a more 21st century kind of perspective.
Yeah, doesn't he like kiss her when she's passed out?
Yes. So yeah, it's just not my favorite. That's like what keeps the movie from being like a 10 out of 10 for me. But like
that's honestly fair.
This
it's kind of a
movie,
nothing subplot.
It really just like, first of all, makes me cry literally every single time.
Oh yeah.
I really love what it says about like how teachers can have an impact on you, how like the right teachers can really have an impact on you.
Mm-hmm.
I love what it says about like friendship, and you know, especially like if you have the kind of parents where like you feel neglected or you feel controlled or something like that.
Yeah, I do love like a found family story a little bit.
Exactly. And so I just really love everything that this movie has to say. Again, it's so visually pretty.
It
the
really
music, the acting is so good from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's really such a special film.
Agreed.
I'm teetering between an 8.5 and 9 out of 10.
I'd probably go, I think I like Stand By Me a little more. I don't know why. I truly can't tell you why, just like a personal thing. Stand By Me is like a perfect little fairy tale.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
So I'd go Dead Poet Society at like an 8.
Okay.
I'd give it an 8. Yeah. It's but like a solid 8. That's still like,
Yeah.
you know, it's still a pretty great movie. It's another one that I'm like, anyone would like it. You just have to go in being prepared to have like your heart ripped out of your chest.
Like be prepared to cry.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this week I think literally my rating went from like 7.5 to 8.5. So like
fair enough.
Every movie was just so solid.
Yeah, this was like a really great week.
Really great week.
And like a very like heartwarming week.
Yeah, it made me reflect on a lot about friendship, a lot about growing up, how we find ourselves as people.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it made me remember some teachers that I loved, like just so good, so emotional. I cried a lot.
Yeah, no, this was a fun week. And I'm looking forward next week to talk about the reverse side, to talk about the ladies.
Yes.
So next week we will be watching Lady Bird, Juno, and Welcome to the Dollhouse, which I'm really excited to talk about that one.
I'm very excited for next week. Again, I think it's a great lineup. I've got some movies I've never seen before, and I've got some movies that I fucking love.
Yeah.
So
I'm so like Lady Bird is just a joy to watch every time. So I'm excited to see that one again.
I think it's going to be similar as this week, where it's like my ratings are pretty much the same for every single one.
Yeah. No, really excited. I'm with you. And you know, if you would like to watch along, we're talking to you listeners or viewers, depending on what platform you're on. If you'd like to watch along with us, please feel free to do so. And then you can join us next week to chat about them.
Yes, please do. Like, I feel like every time we're like, oh yeah, you guys should watch these movies. Like sometimes we're like, oh, I'm going to check out the movie. I'm like, no, genuinely, like it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't seen any of the movies we watched this week, please watch them.
And we're like so judgmental. So if we say something's good, it like is really good.
Yeah. I am the worst critic you'll ever meet.
You are.
Yeah, I'm such a bitch when it comes to shit like that.
Well, thank you so much for listening. I'm Olivia.
I'm Maggie.
Bye.
Bye.